Right, what I'm going to do today is cut this little brass plate which goes on the side of the steam chest. I'm also going to cut the slots in for the steam inlet and exhaust. I'm going to cut and tap those holes, and then I'm going to fix that little brass plate on here before I cut these slots so everything lines up. I'll also be cutting the inlet and exhaust slots in the top and the bottom of the chamber, which go through and meet up with the slots here. So the first job is to get this little brass plate cut and out of there. Also I'm going to be doing these fittings, the exhaust fittings. I'm only putting one on. It shows two on the drawing, but I'm only putting one on. I may have said it in a previous video. I don't think it needs to. It shows two steam inlets as well, but one is going to be more than sufficient for this little engine. Well, at least I think so. Unless you think any different, then let me know in the comments. But anyway, first job, get this little brass plate cut out and fitted on there. Right, just going to sand it to fit. Right, just going to deburr it on the Scotch-Brite wheel. Right, I'm going to stick that on there, just with some double-sided tape for now. Right, peel that back. Sorry, I had to take it out of shot to get it lined up, but that's in position now. So now we can get over to the mill, get the holes drilled in the corners, and get the slots put in. Set that up using a parallel off the back fence. Right, I'm going to set that up using a parallel off the back fence. Only doing it by eye, but that's going to be okay for this operation. Right, just going to edge find now to find out the centre. I need to get the centre. Clamp the right way round. Right, because the brass is just very slightly over the edge, I want to edge find off the cylinder. So I'll put a parallel in here which I know is 4mm, so I can deduct that later. So I'm going to edge find off the parallel, and then I'm going to edge find off the parallel on the back as well. Right, I'll just flip this round now, put the parallel on the back. Right, I can now use the half function on the DRO to give me the centre now. Right, I've set the height on the DRO because I've got to make sure that when I move it now over to this side that I edge find at the same height, but because it splays out, if I edge find lower down or higher up, it's not going to give a true reading. So I've now got to set that back down to 0 on the DRO, and then I can edge find off this side. now on 0, so now I can measure out to get the 4 corners. Right, from the centre point, which is what I've now got, these holes are 16mm out from the centre on the Y, and they're 15mm out on the X-axis. So I can get those drilled out now, ready for a 4mm tap. Right, I've got 4 holes to go in there now. They're 3.4mm holes for an M4 tap. They're 15mm from centre and 16mm from centre to each hole, and they're 8mm deep. Right, I'm cutting these dry because I don't want to put any oil on, because the oil is going to get underneath and destroy the glue on the tape that's holding this in position. So just going to go around now and just drill a little clearance hole through the brass before I tap them. Right, I put a couple of screws in there. That should help stop the plate from moving around, not that it is moving around, while I do the slots now for the inlet and exhaust chambers, or inlet and exhaust ports I should say. Right, what I've decided to do is to drill out the hole with a 4mm drill bit to start with, and then I can nibble it away with the cutter. So I drill a 4mm hole. Right, I should be able to now nibble that. That's about as near as I can get to show you inside the port. I will show you when I take it out, but I'm now going to do the 3mm ports either side. Right, looks like the oil is broken the glue free. So now I've got to find a way of holding that down. I suppose if I put a couple of nuts on these. Right, what I'm going to do, put a couple of nuts on these screws and use those to hold the plate down now. Right, that's going to hold the plate down in position now. Let's start nibbling away at this one now then. have the ports. Not perfect, there's a little bit of cutter flex, but they're okay. There's the little brass plate that we did at the same time. That goes between the steam chest and the cylinder. So what we've got to do now is put the holes through here, drill down into the ports, and then we've got to put a hole through there for the exhaust port. So we'll do these top and bottom holes first. Right, I've got the cylinder set up in the correct orientation. I've found my centre of the inner diameter, and then I've come back 19mm radius, which is this 15 and 4, 19 to the centre of a 4mm hole, and I've got to go down 15mm. So what I'm going to do is set the DRO at 0 using a bit of shim stock. Okay, that's set at 0. This shim stock is 0.36, so I've got to go down 15mm and 36. Right, I'll put this little file in the port now, and then bring the drill bit down. You can see that the file is flexing at the touching the drill bit, so I'm exactly in the right place. Right, I'm going to set the cutter up using the same method. It's an 0.36 piece of shim stock. Set the DRO to 0 now, so that means my cutting depth, so let's just show you. The cutting depth on this one is here. Let's see, make sure, let's try and get it in focus. It's a radius of 6.5. Well, I've only got a 12mm cutter, so that'll be okay. And it's got to go down 3.5mm, so I've got to go down to 3.85 to take up the measurement of the shim stock that I set the cutter height to. Right, that's milled to 3.86. Now what I've done is I've put these two stops on here now, so when I now flip this over, it'll go back in exactly the correct position, and I won't need to adjust anything. So if I now set that in there, that's exactly in the correct position now, without having to recenter. It's exactly so that's in exactly the same position, so I can come down now. Using the shim stock again, I can set the 0 on the DRO. There we go. Set the 0 on the DRO, and then I've got to come down 3.86. 3.86. Right, I'll move the table back to 19mm now. Just swap out the cutter. Right, same procedure as before. Set the DRO. And I need to go down 15mm. Yep, we're through. Right, there's the port. Same on the other end, and they go through. You can just about see them peeping through into the steam intake ports. Right, just got to cut the exhaust port in now. That's this 12mm cut here, which goes down to a depth of 4mm from where it first breaks in. So now I've got an 8mm hole to drill, so that's going to be something like a 7.3 drill bit down, 8mm, and then the rest is 5mm into the chamber. I'm going to zero the DRO at that height and down 8mm. Right, I've got to swap that out now for a 5mm. Right, I'm going to use a mirror so I can see when it breaks into the chamber. Right, I can see that now it's broken into the chamber. So we'll just get the 8mm tap in there, get that threaded out. A little bit further to go, probably get a little bit more maybe. That's that done, and then the little union for the exhaust pipe goes in there, just like that. Right, you can see the ports quite clearly there now, the holes going through. Centre one's obviously the exhaust port, fits onto the little union. There is a video with these little brasses on. It may have been out before you see this, or it might be out after. But anyway, that now is the finished cylinder. That's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. I would also appreciate it if you would click the subscribe button, because that will enable me to grow the channel so that I can keep making these videos. Please leave a comment or a question. I do read all of the comments and reply to as many as I can. Thanks for watching.